in today's lesson, we're going to be talking about the easiest way to get started with sweep picking on the guitar. And even if you've never sweep picked before, this is going to be the perfect opportunity to get started. So let's jump right into it. I'm going to be showing you this exercise. It looks a little bit like this, and we're going to go over a couple of different variations of it. Okay, so let's go over exactly what I'm doing there, because I did it slowly in the beginning and then I did it really fast. So what we're going to be doing is we're actually going to be sweep picking through a minor seventh arpeggio. Okay, so it doesn't really matter what the arpeggio is right now, but it just so happens to be that this is a minor seventh. So you can practice this as any minor seventh arpeggio. This just happens to be an E minor seventh. I could, if I wanted to, I could alternate pick through this, which would be always alternating between down pick and up pick. So down, up, up. But the problem with that is it's super duper hard to get that fast. So this is where sweep picking comes in. We're going to pick these all the same direction. So in this case, we're going to move the thing down. We're going to move our pick downwards every time. So down, down, down. You need to make this motion one continuous motion, okay? So a lot of times when I've taught people to sweep pick, they will do a down pick, and then the next string, they will like kind of reload their pick and then pick here, sort of like this. If you watch really carefully, watch that right hand. No, that is not one continuous motion. You see my pick bouncing in between each of the strings. It needs to be, my hand is literally just going straight down like this. The other thing that you have to watch out for, letting two notes ring out at the same time. So it would be very easy if I just held all of these fingers down and did this. But that is not really sweep picking, because now that just sounds like I'm just playing a chord and I'm arpeggiating the chord. So even though we are arpeggiating a chord here, the idea is that we want it to sound like an actual melody, like a melodic line. We don't want to hear the notes ringing out together. So this is going to be actually the most challenging part. Both of those things. Having that continuous motion going, and then making sure that each of our fingers, as soon as we're done playing one note, that this finger has to come up. So once I play the E and I switch to the G, it's very small to see, but my finger releases from that E to the G. It gets completely released. Now, another bonus tip that probably a lot of you are going to run into is do not lift your fingers off the fingerboard. No, you don't lift your finger off. Why? Because actually, if you just stop pressing on the note and you leave it touching the string, it will help that, because you will actually mute the string once it's done being played. So if I play this E, I'm just going to play one note to demonstrate this, and I just let go. Notice how I didn't lift my finger off. I think I did the first time very slightly, but I don't lift my finger off, just stop pressing. And this actually requires a lot of control. If you look at the left hand very carefully, it should look something like this. So notice how you see like this very small motion. You can even hear my guitar a little bit when I'm hitting those strings. That's what the left hand has got to look like. If your fingers are coming off like this, it's not going to work. No, it's going to get completely mistimed, and then it's going to sound sloppy. So you got to practice just doing this. So now we're going to add on that last note, this D note up here. So we're going to have two options. We could just hammer on to this note, or we could actually play an upstroke on that note. So a lot of times sweep picking is not just the action that I just showed you, but it's going to be combined with hammer-ons and pull-offs so that we can play multiple notes on one string at certain points in the thing that we want to sweep pick through. So let's see what that would look like. We're going to sweep through the E, G, and the B, and then we're going to play an upstroke on D. Now, we're going to do this in reverse. So once we get to that D and we've played this upstroke, now we're actually going to play a pull-off. So instead of picking it again, we want to make things as easy as possible on that picking hand. So we're just going to pull it off like this. So that would be the next thing to practice. Once you can do this, and then you can do this, then you want to add in a pull-off back to that B note. Until you can do it roughly that fast. And then finally, we can return back to the beginning after we pulled off from D to B, and then we're just going to play G and E again, this time going the opposite way. So remember, whatever direction our pick, or rather, we're going to switch strings to, we have to keep the pick moving in that direction. So now we're going to have to go back up to the second and up to the third string. So guess what? We're going to play upstrokes there. So see that? So we went down, 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 up, pull off, up, up. So really slowly, down, 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 up, pull off, up, up. Practice it until you can get it there. So now we're going to add one more little version because this is just something that I think is really fun to do. So actually, if I add this note here, this D, well, this is another just octave of the same note that we actually had already in the chord. It's actually the seventh of that E minor 7 chord. And now we get this kind of like an X shape almost. You see, it's almost shaped just like an X there. So it'll look something like this. And actually, once you start going faster, what you can do, which I just did there, is play a consecutive hammer on and then pull off from B. So we're going to go like this. D, hammer, down, down, hammer, pull off, up, up, pull off. And then actually, once we've gotten into the cycle of playing this thing repetitively, then we can just do a pull off and then a hammer on back again to that to that E note there. So really slowly like this. So actually, it sounds really crazy when you do it like that, but it's actually not that hard once you get the hang of it. I do want to show you one more version, actually. So if we remove this D here, we go back to just our regular E minor 7. This is a cool lick that you'll hear actually Pat Metheny playing a lot, and it sounds like this. So there he's starting the sweep from the top of the arpeggio. He's actually doing 2 repetitions of this D and B at the top. So a down, pull off, down, pull off. So, and then up, up on G and E. And actually, the rhythm for this should be practiced as triplets. So triplet, 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 triplet. So that's a really, really cool variation of that as well. So if you want to learn how to master the guitar fretboard so you can take your new sweep picking skills and apply them to any key, any chord progression, any song that you're soloing on, and be able to completely master the guitar fretboard, then make sure you head on over to Jamsville.com right now and pick up your copy of the Jamsville GPS Fretboard Fundamentals course. Also, make sure you check out the Jamsville merch store where you can get an awesome Jamsville t-shirt and lots of other goodies just like this so you can support the channel and have some awesome gear to wear out in the world. Also, make sure you check out my favorite guitar picks, the Dan's Guitar Store Precision Pick. These have the absolute best grip that I've ever felt on any pick, and on top of that, they have this really amazing beveled edge that cuts through the strings like a hot knife through butter. Also, last thing, make sure you check out my new song that I released just a couple of months ago. It's called My Divine. You can listen to it on Spotify or any streaming service that you prefer. Check the link in the description down below. Make sure you like the video, really helps out the channel, and subscribe so you don't miss any new videos. And until next time, listen, learn, and jam.